Welcome everyone to the ultimate drag clicking tutorial. This is your one and, let's be honest here, last stop shop to learn this legendary clicking technique. This video will cover the entire process from picking the right mouse to perfecting its applications such as God bridging. I have made a lot of YouTube shorts on this subject, so now I'm mashing them all into one big remastered video. So even if you're not watching this video to learn to drag click, I hope at the very least the video is entertaining. Alright, let's get started. Picking the right mouse. This step can either be the easiest or the most difficult part of the entire process. In order to start drag clicking, you need a mouse that is able to double click. If you need an explanation on what double clicking is, watch this video. Don't worry, it's less than a minute long, so you'll survive. I have many great recommendations for mice, but it's ultimately up to your playstyle. If you plan to only play Minecraft, I'd recommend picking up a matte black Bloody A70 if you plan to do butterfly clicking, or a Roccat Cone EMP or XTD if you want to do jitter clicking. However, if you're planning to play other games besides Minecraft, which I hope is most of us, then I recommend you pick up a Glorious mouse. It really doesn't matter which one you get, all of them pretty much do the same thing. The only real differences are with the shape. I will say that if you plan to do butterfly clicking, I would stay away from these Glorious mice. The clicks seem to be much thinner than all the other Glorious mice, which could make it harder to butterfly click. But if you want to know the mice I've picked up from Glorious, I have the Model O and the Model O2 Pro wireless. I'd also throw in the Model O wireless in there for good measure. So these are my recommendations, but I've also listed some other good drag clicking mice on screen. So the decision is ultimately up to you. To quickly verify if your mouse is double clicking, lightly tap one of the mouse buttons, and if it's registering clicks, then you have a double clicking mouse, and you can proceed. Mouse optimizations. Now that you have your mouse, let's start learning to drag click. In order to drag click, you need to create friction between your finger and the mouse click. However, there are tons of different confounding variables that can affect this, such as your mouse's texture, the shell of your mouse, the dryness and the sweatiness of your fingers, and sometimes even things you can't control, such as the temperature of your room. But the most important factor is definitely your mouse's texture. If you remember from the previous segment, I specifically chose mice that had a matte texture, simply because the matte texture is less smooth, which allows you to inflict more friction onto your mouse. Sometimes though, it's just not enough. For example, the oils from your finger can build up on your mouse and cause your finger to start slipping. Similarly, if you have hydrosis or your hands just sweat a lot, your sweat can also cause your finger to slip. One fix to this is to use a towel to wipe your fingers and the mouse button down. But the more traditional method of stabilizing friction is to use electrical tape. I'll link you guys a video in the description of what I believe is the best electrical tape to use. However, using electrical tape does come with its own downsides. If you put tape on a matte surface, the matte texture will be permanently ruined. So if you ever want to drag click again, you're gonna have to keep using tape. I personally prefer to preserve the matte surface, but the choice is completely up to you. Some other people like to use grip tape, and while it's a good starting point, grip tape creates way too much friction, which can cause you to skip some clicks, effectively lowering your clicks per second. So grip tape should be used more as training wheels rather than your main tape. Short drag clicking. Now that you've optimized your mouse for drag clicking, it's time to actually start doing some clicking. To start, practice drag clicking without holding your mouse. Take your finger and slide it up the mouse from the bottom of the click. And whatever you do, do not click the mouse button. This is one of the biggest mistakes people make when first learning to drag click. If you're hearing a buzzing sound when you're sliding your finger up on the mouse button, you're doing it right. If your mouse keeps moving, you can hold it still with your left hand. Keep repeating this process until you're consistently hearing the buzzing sound every single drag. Once you've gotten comfortable drag clicking like this, try drag clicking while holding your mouse. Hold your mouse in a claw or a palm grip so you're holding your mouse like this. Next, take your finger, aim for one spot on the click, and drag your finger up. You're going to want to put a little more pressure this time around, but still don't click the mouse button. Keep repeating this motion until you're able to consistently do it. Congratulations, you're now able to short drag click. You should check how much CPS you're getting with either a CPS test or a CPS counter in-game. The minimum clicks you want to get per short drag is 3. 3 clicks is the base for most of drag clicking's practical applications, such as God bridging. If you're able to get more though, that's even better. Long drag clicking. In addition to short drag clicking, you can also learn to long drag click. Fingertip grip your mouse so you're holding it like this. Basically, you want to drag click your mouse like how we were doing it in the beginning, but you want to hold your mouse this time. So just drag your finger up from the bottom of the mouse button. Once again, repeat this until you're able to consistently do it. This should be a little bit easier though, since you have a lot more surface area to work with. I can usually get about 15 clicks per second in one long drag click. However though, unlike short drag clicking, long drag clicking's applications are more limited. Its main uses are in game modes such as MLG Rush and German Bed Wars, since you need to be clicking at least 40 clicks per second to reduce knockback in a fight. You can also use long drag clicking for tele-bridging. You could incline bridge, but I'm pretty sure people still use short drag clicking for that. You can also use long drag clicking to take items out of a chest faster or buy items in the Bed Wars item shop quicker. Applications of drag clicking. Now that you can drag click, it's time to start applying it. We're going to focus mainly on bridging since I'm pretty sure that's what most people are here for. I'd recommend hopping on a bridging server such as Bridgerland to practice. Before attempting God bridging, I'd first try ninja bridging with drag clicking. I feel like I've said this a million times now, but once you've gotten comfortable with short drag clicking faster, you can finally move on to God bridging. God bridging. Now before we begin God bridging, something I would recommend you do is to change your crosshair to the arrow. You can do this in the crosshair settings of your PvP client, or you can download the texture pack in the description. You want to align your crosshair with the block below you at about a 90-degree angle, but if you use the arrow crosshair, you just have to align yourself like this. I still don't really know the timings. For me, it's just a feeling, so you're just gonna have to feel your way around it. If it helps, you should be placing about 4 to 4.5 blocks per second, so you should be maintaining around 12 CPS, assuming you're clicking 3 CPS per short drag click. Also, make sure you jump or sneak every 6 to 8 blocks, otherwise you'll just fall off. This will not be easy, you will have to struggle through this, but if you're really struggling, you can first try moonwalking. Moonwalking is basically the same thing as God bridging, but you have a lot more room to make errors. You can even moonwalk with single clicks. Look, here's me doing it right now. All you have to do is line up here-ish and strafe in the opposite direction that you're moving in. Once again, you're gonna have to feel your way around for the timings and make sure you jump or sneak every 6 to 8 blocks. Once you can moonwalk well, you can slowly start moving back to God bridging. So yeah, that's it. I hope you learned something from this video today, but if you didn't, I hope at the very least the video was at least entertaining. I want this video to be one of the last I make on drag clicking, since I'm pretty sure its community is kind of dead. But drag clicking is pretty much the main reason for my channel's success today, so I hope this video is a nice tribute to it. Anyways, I'll see you all in my next video.